What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to a brand new year, a brand new season of the Losing It podcast. You're here with Kylie Pax, Australia's emotional eating coach, and I hope that you all had an amazing start to your new year. The wrap up of last year was certainly welcome from everybody's end, I'm quite certain. But this year is going to be epic. This is the year of transformation. I'm just making that up. It's not because I can foresee the future. I'm just deciding that for me, it is a year of complete and utter transformation. So as many of you know, last year I went on a little weight gain and then weight loss expedition. So I ended up losing 18 kilos over the course of 6 months using my blueprint, obviously. This is the year that I am going to be honing that in and refining it. So whilst the 18 kilos was great, I am now how old am I? I'm 54 and I want to become more toned. How muscly I want to get, I'm not really, I know I don't want to be jacked. I know that for sure, but I definitely do want to refine and work on what I've achieved so that, well, basically so I can be even more proud of myself. I am so incredibly proud of what I achieved last year, but like any goal, once you hit a quote unquote finish line, it's fantastic and it's great, but you're on to creating your next goals. So today we're going to be talking about how to become her in 2026. And I'm not talking about that Pinterest version, and I'm definitely not talking about the new year, new me BS fantasy. I'm talking about the real deal. That version of you who is unrecognizable. She doesn't binge eat. She's not starting over every Monday. She is the one who does not need motivation to do what she said she would do because it is just in her DNA. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear today, but I am absolutely going to tell you what you fucking need to hear. You do not need more motivation. What you need is fewer excuses that you keep dressing up as reasons. Because I'm telling you now, girl, you're not too busy. Work is not too stressful and you are not waiting for the perfect time on your calendar. What you're doing is protecting the version of you that keeps making excuses instead of challenging her. So I want to start today by making sure you understand I'm not raining on your parade. I know you want the weight loss. I know you want to stop binge eating. I know you want to stop emotional eating. I know you want the same transformation that you know is possible for you. You've seen it happening with other females. Heck, you probably watched my journey. But if wanting it was just enough, you would already have it. And if 2025 did not change you, it's not because you didn't want it bad enough. It's because you kept negotiating with the same bullshit habits that got you stuck in the first place. The comfort that you have grown accustomed to is right now the most expensive habit that you have. It is literally bleeding your possibilities dry. And every single time you say, oh, it's just one more time, it's just a little bit, what harm can this do? You are voting again and again and again for that old version of you. Think about it like this. You know, in every country we have elections, whether you're here in Australia with us, we vote for certain parliaments, whether you're in the US or whatever country that you're based in, you have your own electoral system. Imagine you going to the fucking polls and every single year voting for the person that you fucking hated. You hated this person's guts. They were a tyrant. They were stupid. They were lazy. They never achieved anything. They made promises out the wazoo that they never, ever fulfilled or followed up on. And yet you went there merrily with a smile on your face like you had a fucking lobotomy and you voted for them again and again and again, year after year after year. And then you had the audacity to go back home and bitch and moan and complain with all your friends about how horrible your president or your prime minister was. I'm sorry, who kept voting them in? You did. Who kept authorizing their return? You did. Who kept bringing them back into your life with every single vote that you made? Girl, it was you. And that is exactly what you're doing every time you go back on your promises. You say it's just one more time. You tell yourself it's only a little bit. What harm can it do? You are voting again and again and again for the version of you that you do not even like. So if you're listening to this right now and hoping that I'm about to give you a fresh burst of inspiration, I'm not. What I am going to give you is the truth about how I lost 18 kilos in 6 months and became unrecognizable, and why becoming her has nothing to do with hype and everything to do with your standards. So let's get into it. Most of you are not failing at weight loss. What you're failing at is telling yourself the truth. You keep telling yourself I'm going to do it, and yet your life stays looking exactly the same. So you're not falling off track, but you are stepping off track because it feels familiar there. That's why I know that food is not the problem. It never has been the problem. The problem is that you keep negotiating with yourself as if you are not the one with the final say, like you're not the one that's in charge. And if the only plan that works for you is any kind of plan that makes you feel good all the time, it's not a fucking plan. That is a fantasy. Becoming her in 2026 isn't complex and it's not complicated, but I'm telling you the truth, it is going to be inconvenient. So let's talk a little about my transformation last year, and I'm not going to do that whole romanticizing it and I got myself pretty teacups and I made my bed linen so floral and fantastic. No, I don't have time to romanticize my life or whatever shit it is that you're seeing out there. There is no room for romanticizing. There is only room for execution. So I'm going to tell you what it actually looked like. I started the year by booking my dream photo shoot. It was amazing and I loved every moment of it. I'm telling you, I researched for months what my outfits were going to be. I was ordering off Fashion Nova, like my credit card was never going to have an end balance, but I was also avoiding the scale. Truly, I just didn't want to know about it. I thought, I'm okay, I look fine. And when I looked in the mirror, I was not seeing what was actually there. I was seeing this fantasy version in my head. I don't know what the fuck I was seeing, quite frankly, but I wasn't seeing the truth. Thing is though, avoidance doesn't stop weight gain. It was only delaying my accountability. So by February, I had entered my eat whatever the frick I want era. And whilst it felt very freeing and fun, it also had me gaining 8 extra kilos and they attached themselves to my booty and then called all their mates and had a corroboree there. Pleasure without any boundaries isn't really pleasure at all. You can fool yourself and tell yourself that it is. Like, isn't this fun eating this pizza and drinking this wine? But at the end of the day, I knew what worked. I just didn't want to be consistent because I knew that that would require me to actually grow a spine and start saying no to myself sometimes. So as a result, by March, I had hit 70 kilos, which was very heavy for me. I only have a small frame. While I'm tall, I'm about 175 centimeters. I don't have a big frame. I have a very slight frame. So weight still shows up pretty easily on my body. So this is where I had to have my kind of come to Jesus moment and decide what I was actually going to do. Was I going to embrace my big girl era and just tell myself, that's okay. I'm comfortable at this weight. I'm just going to buy some muumuus. I don't care anymore about how I look or how I feel. I'm going to be basically fat and happy. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a choice. But what I didn't want is drama. I wasn't going to have some kind of mental breakdown. I was just analyzing the facts and deciding what my next course of action was going to be, because I wasn't going to do something that I wasn't all in on. Your life is only going to change when the discomfort of staying the same starts outweighing the comfort of pretending that everything's okay. And that's exactly what happened to me. So by April, I really stopped winging it. I started holding myself accountable by doing weigh-in Wednesdays on my Instagram page. If you scroll back, you can see them. And I've watched some of them the other day. They were kind of confronting to see how it is that I look now and compare that to how I looked when I started. I just didn't realize how big I had gotten. So it took me a moment, but I ended up creating the structure and the standards and the blueprint that I needed to achieve the outcome and the goals and hit the markers that I wanted to hit. And this is the thing. Everybody looks at my transformation, or you look at other people's transformation. Everybody wants to know what happened. Like, Kylie, what did you do between May and December? I mean, that's when the magic happened, right? That's when I lost 18 kilos. So what's the secret? Tell us. It's not complicated. This is the whole thing. It wasn't complex and it wasn't complicated, but it was inconvenient. It was boring. It was unsexy, but that is what life-changing transformations are made of. And this is the part that nobody wants to tell you. I had to show up and I had to get consistent. Not once, not when I felt like doing it, but every day, all the time, whether I was into it or not, because feelings are not going to burn my fat, but my actions and decisions would. So I want to touch on this before we go any further, because it's what I talk about all the time, is that it's your identity that creates the shift. It's not what you put in your mouth. Well, I mean, that's only partially true. It is what you put in your mouth, but it's the identity first. I didn't lose weight because I hit my macros perfectly. I lost weight because I stopped protecting the old version of me that was keeping me miserable, fat, and overweight. That was the version that was binging, and the version that used to quit all the time, and the version of me that needed motivation before she was prepared prepared to show up. You're not going to stop emotional eating by managing your food alone. You stop it by upgrading who you believe that you are. It's personality first. That comes before any kind of management of your perfect food consumption. Like, that's just not a thing. The body that you want right now belongs to a woman who has boundaries, the kind of boundaries that you don't want to know about. You don't want to face them. You keep avoiding them. You're avoiding them with the pizza and the wine. But you keep waiting to feel like her before you act like her. That's backwards. That's us about. I was waking up for those first 3 months every Monday. Bear in mind, this was the first 3 months of last year. I would wake up every single morning praying to feel motivated and changed so that I could act motivated and changed. I thought, surely next Monday will be the one. That's when I'm really going to wake up and feel inspired and motivated and like a real go-getter. And I waited weeks and weeks, days and days. They turned into months and nothing changed. It took me an embarrassingly long period of time to realize that I had to start acting like her in order to feel like her. It was never going to be the other way around. I had to convince myself that my life did not have room in it anymore for binge eating. Not because it was forbidden, but because it simply didn't fit how I see myself. So if this year you're also looking for a really simple place to start, you're like, Kylie, it's all too much, it's too complex, and especially right now, there are so many people out there, coaches, pages, companies bombarding you. Seriously, even me who's in the industry, I had to get off of IG the other day because I'm like, I can't expose myself to this anymore. I felt overwhelmed by the coaches and the companies and the people who were like, buy my shit. They were all basically saying my shit's better than yours and here's why you should buy it. Here's all my transformations. And listen, I'm out there. I'm one of those people, but also I'm not, because there was really only 3 things that I needed to change initially in order for me to start seeing results. And I'm going to share those with you now because you don't need a complex system. You don't need to run out there and drop thousands on some dickhead coach who thinks that their macros are better than everybody else's. And that's just not true. It's not what it takes. You can log onto ChatGPT right now and have that dude create a macro program for you and a workout program. Firstly, for free, and secondly, would probably crush anything that any of the coaches out there have got. So this is the 3 things that I started doing that changed the game for me initially. And I just want to preface this by saying that none of them have got anything to do with food. So firstly, I stopped breaking promises to myself. Every single time I did that, it was circling back to what we spoke about earlier. I was just voting for a president in my life or a prime minister in my life that I freaking hated their own guts. And it was me. I was the one. I was the one who was voting them in, and I was the one who hated the person I was voting in. I stopped breaking promises to myself. And every time you lie to yourself like that, you are reinforcing the identity of the exact person you're trying to get away from. Start with integrity first. It's your fastest fat loss tool, the fastest one that you will ever use. When you say you're going to do something, you better damn well do it. When you promise yourself, I'm going to get my shit together next Monday with food. Well, next Monday's coming, honey, so you better get your shit together with food. I don't care if it's not convenient. I don't care if you don't feel like it. I don't care if Susan at the office has brought in the biggest birthday cake that you've ever seen and it's your favorite one from childhood. I don't care. My care factor is less than 0 and you're not going to see me giving a shit. You gave your word. It's time for you to enforce it. The second thing that I did is I cleaned up my environment. The triggers that you are currently facing are not accidental. You're tolerating that shit. You're tolerating it in your life. Oh, but I need these chips in the house for the kids. My partner likes to eat junk food. Again, my care factor, less than 0 right now. You cannot heal in the same environment that trained you to use food as a coping mechanism. So clean that shit up. I did talk to Phil about it and I said, listen, I can have this food in the house. It's okay, but it's just going to make it harder for me. And I would really like to set myself up for some fast wins early on. So he was happy to not buy chips and things for a while because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be a fat pig. He was wanting to get his shit together too. So he's like, that's fine. We don't need this stuff. We don't need it in here. So we didn't use excuses like this is for the kids. We didn't say it's just this once and I'm starting again tomorrow. We didn't say it's date night. We just agreed on a goal and we said for this period in time, however long you decide it's going to be, we didn't actually even have an end date. I just said for now, let's just not have it in the house for now. And there were times when he brought it in, and there would be times when I did eat some. Like I said, I wasn't about getting perfect eating. I was wanting predictable, not perfect. I wanted to know that when I came in the house, more often than not, there was not going to be chips there. There was not going to be chocolate there. Occasionally there would be, but I wanted predictable over perfect. And then thirdly, sis, you got to follow your plan, not your mood. I had to follow my plan. I got out my bombshell journal and my bombshell planner, and I used that shit like my life depended on it every single day, whether I wanted to or not. Whether I forgot to do it in the morning and I had to fill it in the afternoon, I didn't tell myself, well, now it's too late. Now it doesn't count. It all counts. Never once has your mood led you to your dream body. Discipline isn't harsh. It's actually relief from the shit that you are tolerating right now. You don't need another fresh start. What you need is to be consistent with the start that you made last Tuesday and stop quitting. The next point that I want to remind you of is to stop trying to dismantle this issue from the outside. This is not an outside in problem. This problem is inside out. What the frick do I mean? Everybody wants to fix the problem from the outside. Oh, let me just drop some supplements into my cart. That will fix it. Okay, I'm just going to do this detox over here. That will fix it. Here's some extreme fasting. Here's some crazy over exercising. None of that works long term. You don't need another trick or a gimmick. You need to raise your damn standards. That outside stuff only works when the inside stuff stops sabotaging. So here's the honest truth that you really got to ask yourself. How many more years are you willing to repeat this bullshit cycle? You already know what works. It's not like you don't even come at me and pretend you don't know what works. I can tell you right now. Again, ChatGPT will spell it out for you if you don't believe me. Lower your calories, increase your movement, eat some healthier shit. That's all it takes. But you just don't like how consistent it requires you to be. Becoming unrecognizable, becoming her this year isn't about a bigger glow up. You don't need to glow up. You need to bury the version of you that keeps showing up and holding you back. That old version of you, she cannot come with you for this journey. So if you're done negotiating and starting over and this BS that we do every single year, clinking your glasses together like you hear me say so often, cheers to me losing weight this year. Have you done it yet? Have you stuck with it? Because if you want a structure that actually carries you through on your worst days, not just the times when you do feel motivation and you're clear on your stuff, trying to stop swearing, you're clear on your goals, then that's exactly who I built the blueprint for. I built it for me, firstly and foremostly, because I was the world's biggest, laziest cow. I was the one who kept breaking promises to myself and probably everybody else in between. It was me. I was the biggest problem in my own life. And it's not all about motivation. I built it for execution, to raise my standards, and for me to stop lying to myself. Becoming her this year, it's not hard. I'm telling you what's hard. Staying who you are right now, that's hard. So if 2026 is going to be the year that you stop choosing comfort over being honest with yourself, then it really is time for you to get the blueprint. I'm talking no hype. There's no shortcuts here. It's just the structure that changes everything. Thank you so much for joining me this week. And as always, if you're loving what you're hearing and you want to hear more, please go ahead and hit subscribe. That is how you're going to make sure that you never miss an episode. And as always, remember, the only person who has the power to change your life is you. When you stop looking for shortcuts and you start creating a structure, that is when you've got what it takes. I'm sending you love. I cannot wait to see you again next week. Until then, gorgeous ones, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to kyliepax.com and join me inside of the Bombshell Blueprint so you can stop emotional eating and start losing your weight now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources inside my past podcasts that will help you lose your weight without losing your sanity. I will see you next week.